This is southern Scotland's coastline. It's where I grew up. This farm is the one that I grew up with my four brothers and sisters and my mum and dad, until he passed away when I was 15. Here's the story of why I became a hoof trimmer, why I love it, and why I'm going to keep doing it. Enjoy the video, guys, and keep hitting the subscribe button. You're doing amazing. We're nearly at 20,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you enough for it. Cheers, guys. So I live on the very southwest coast of Scotland, and where I live the climate is variable to say the least. In the winter it goes to around -5, 6, 7, sometimes as low as -10. In the summer, well, today it's +24 and it's a really hot day for us here. The humidity is really high and the grass can grow like you wouldn't believe. So I grew up in this area. My ancestors have lived here for literally hundreds of years. They used to own cotton mills, farms, they were doctors, and now I'm a hoof trimmer. My journey to becoming a hoof trimmer was a bit strange, really. I grew up on the family farm. We had two farms, both for beef and sheep, and they were around, I think there were 800 acres in total. So they weren't huge farms, but they were productive. My father died when I was about 15 and a half because he drowned. It was an accident, these things happen. My mother remarried, and she actually remarried a hoof trimmer. But by the time all of this had happened, I had gone into the restaurant industry. I was working up north and wasn't enjoying the job that I was in, so came back here to Wigtonshire, which is where I am now and where I love being. A question I get asked an awful lot is, what training did you do? Did I do any training? How did I get into it? As I said before, my stepfather was a hoof trimmer. He trimmed cows' feet for 27 years after he'd been a dairyman, so after he milked the cows. I was never really interested in it until he actually became ill and I moved home from the restaurant that I was running to freeze brand cows. Then after I did that, I loved being home. I loved seeing all the people that I'd grown up with, and I loved being in the relative peace and quiet of Wigtonshire. Not much happens where I live without everybody knowing about it, and I kind of like that. A lot of people wouldn't like that, but I like the friendliness of it all. I like the familiarity of bumping into people in the shop, knowing all of my customers pretty well and having known them for years actually. So training. My stepfather's business was successful and I was working for him as a freeze brander, so I was putting numbers on cows' bums basically. It was for quite a few years, and that involved me travelling the length and breadth of Scotland, up to the Highlands, on the islands, and I did love it, but it was extremely hard work. I was away from home an awful lot of the time and I was young, having a new family, and being away just wasn't working. All of my customers that were being freeze branded, or their cows rather, kept insisting that I should start hoof trimming, and I always said I never would, and eventually I did around 7 years ago. So obviously my stepfather, he had already taught me how to foot trim, but I wanted to do things properly. I wanted to go away myself and really train as much as I could and really get some finesse about it. And also I wanted to be trained by somebody who I didn't know, to kind of push me as a person, which is exactly what I did. I went down south, well, south for me, to Cheshire, and I was trained through a company called Embryonics UK, and I actually wanted to be trained by a guy called Peter Kloosterman, who a lot of people watching this video will be like, oh, he's the messiah. He is fantastic. He is world renowned as one of the best hoof trimming instructors there has ever been. So yeah, I went down there for a 2-day course, then a couple of weeks later I went down for a 4-day course, and since then I've been down 5 or 6 times on different training courses, and I attend as many conferences and talks as I can, as well as constantly researching it on the internet. If I read about a knowledge that I didn't previously know existed, I'll contact the author of whoever it is. I'll speak to them personally and find out as much as I can. I'll look into different studies in different languages. Google Translate is an awesome thing. So that was my training. I don't feel it's adequate enough for everybody, to be honest. So I went for 2 days, then I went for 4 days, and then I went go for a day every 6 months. You don't have to do any training at all to be a hoof trimmer, which is totally and utterly crazy. You're looking after this cow. Her whole health and well-being is basically in your hands. You can kill a cow by hoof trimming her wrong. So to be allowed to do that without any training whatsoever, never mind minimal training, is just totally ludicrous if you ask me. But there you go. Millimeters, not even millimeters, halves of millimeters can make big differences to these animals. And if you do it wrong, like I said, the cow can end up having to be euthanized or killed or culled or whatever you want to call it. I absolutely love my career of choice. I wouldn't change it for the world. Seeing different people and looking after these animals is a privilege, and obviously it feeds my family, so yeah, I absolutely love it. Where I live especially is good for it. So as I said before, I live on the very southwest coast of Scotland. It's really lush and green, as you can see in the background. So grass grows extremely well here, but like I say, the weather fluctuates, so a lot of my cows are actually inside 24 hours a day, 7 days a year, 365 a year. Why is that? Well, cows who go through big transitions, it's really not good for them. If you give them fresh grass 1 minute and silage that's been basically pickled the next, then they're going to get acidosis, they're going to get all sorts of different problems that can lead to problems with fertility, problems with lameness, just general health problems. So a lot of the time the cows are actually housed 24 hours a day here, and if you let the cows out, believe it or not, they'll try to get back in because they really enjoy being inside, which I know to laymen they're going to look at my videos or look at other videos. An ant just bit me. They're going to look at these other videos on the internet and say there's no way that's possible, but I promise you it is possible. These cows enjoy being inside, they enjoy the herd mentality of being in a closed group herd, and they enjoy the sort of relative safety that provides them. So I said that I live in the southwest of Scotland, and it really is as far south as you can go. I actually live further south in parts of England, believe it or not, which a lot of Scottish people won't even realise that's possible. But the area I cover used to be the whole of Scotland, and now I'm very lucky indeed. I only travel around, I think 29 miles is the furthest farm that I go. Most foot trimmers I know are travelling 2 hours, 3 hours. Some guys in the States are travelling 6 hours, 7 hours. My longest trek is about 45 minutes. And most of my farms are actually within about 15 to 20 minutes of my house. So I know my customers extremely well. I'm able to visit their farms really frequently. It's no trouble whatsoever. If I forget things, which happens a lot, I end up just picking them up the next day. So yeah, I'm a very lucky person to be in the career that I chose, be living where I live, and to do the job that I do. Living in beautiful Wigtonshire in southwest Scotland, and able to provide for my family doing what I do. I do these videos because a lot of the time I was looking up videos on YouTube and you were seeing the same sort of cows, basically a foot that was fairly good, trimmed, still fairly good, nothing that impressive. It shows you the 5 steps and that's about it. And I wanted anybody who's looking on YouTube for how to fix the problems that they have with their cows to be able to look at my videos and be able to go out and fix their own cows themselves without having to wait on a foot trimmer to come and do it for them. Anyway guys, I know this video is a bit different, there's not many hoof trimming clips in it. Hope you've enjoyed it. That's a little bit more about me. Tell me more about you in the comments guys, because I really love hearing where you're from, what you do and why you like watching the channel. Thanks very much. Cheers.